Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to look at dashboard design by comparing and considering two types of dashboard design, exploratory versus explanatory dashboard. So here is the list of objectives for this set of slides. So we will talk about the differences of these two types of visualizations, exploratory versus explanatory. We will discuss the definition of a dashboard. We will learn fundamentals of dashboard design and talk about some principles to make data visualization actionable. So first, let's think about the process of discovery in two ways, exploratory versus directed. So, or maybe explanatory. So first, exploratory discovery gives users the tools to find the answer. So in this way, users will be allowed to analyze the data visualization and try to find patterns and relationships for what is being presented. In contrast, the directed discovery will directly show the answer to the audience based on the proposed questions. So there may be some options to change the basic parameters, but mostly the purpose for directed discovery is to show the solution, to show the answer to a question. So now next, what is a dashboard? So here is a definition from Stephen Few in 2004. So he says a dashboard is a visual display of the most important information needed to achieve one or more objectives, consolidated and arranged on a single screen so the information can be monitored at a glance. So his definition is very specific, but he does not believe that something interactive or exploratory is by definition a dashboard. So here's another way to think about it for a dashboard. It can be an information display designed for people to help maintain situational awareness. So like in this example we saw before. Stephen Few's definition for an interactive dashboard or an exploratory data visualization is a faceted analytical display. But this still resides on a single screen and provides different views of the data based on the user's interaction. So this is his view of an exploratory dashboard. So again, he says a dashboard is a visual display of the most important information needed to achieve one or more objectives, consolidated and arranged on a single screen that can be monitored at a glance. Do you think this is a good definition? Do you agree with Stephen Few's definition? Do you think a dashboard have to be on a single screen? Does it have to be designed for at a glance kind of a visualization? Here's another definition of dashboard from the big book of dashboards. A dashboard is a visual display of data used to monitor conditions and or facilitate understanding. So this definition is very broad. How do you compare it with the previous definition and compare it with data visualization? What do you think about the relationship is between data visualization and a dashboard? So we know to design a dashboard, we need actually many supporting attributes. So in Tableau, if you want to design a dashboard, you need to first actually design all the charts you need to have all the information being already presented in some small, concise, direct, or clear display of media in a specific way. And also the dashboard should be customized, tailored to the needs of a specific group of individuals. And you also need to take care of the layout to make sure the content is consistently displayed throughout the entire dashboard. But first of all, we need to understand who is the audience of your dashboard. So on this chart, you see three types of stakeholders, or maybe the audience: CEO, manager, team. Sometimes it can be other users from different functional departments. It can be customer, marketing, sales, billing, operations, etc., accounting, finance. So depending on different types of stakeholders or maybe users, so your dashboard should also be designed in a different way. So for CEO, mid-level manager, or just a team level dashboard, you can see they should focus on different aspects of the organization. It can be highly strategic, it can be tactical, it can be operational, like the KPIs for daily activities. Okay, let's take a look at some of the examples. So how about this one? So we learned in module 1 how the mind perceives information. Gradient colors and background colors can actually affect the way we perceive color. 3D effects can hide or even distort the data. So simple changes to remove these unnecessary effects can actually have a dramatic impact. So look at what we have on this dashboard. So if we make some changes, so compare this one with the previous one. So this one removed the gradient colors and the 3D effects. And we also changed a few colors. So this is more effective than the previous one. Some software tools offer like some bells and whistles, like we see the gauges. So this will take lots of space and limit the view of the data on our dashboard. So you can see by using this kind of fancy icons or logos, it doesn't improve the design of your data visualization. So we should try to avoid using those useless things on our dashboard. So some of the widgets and displays provided by the software programs may not be useful. So on the other hand, they may actually provide some negative impression for the audience, because they may be difficult to understand and read. They may not provide some very interactive ways for the audience to play around with their data sets. Here is a highly effective design of a dashboard. So you can see the consistent use of colors and the very simple design of the interface. So if we put a gauge on the top left corner, you can see it will take lots of space, but provides very limited information. So this is just another the duplicated slide to show you, by taking away the gauge, it's more effective. So there's some things we want to emphasize about an effective dashboard. So for instance, the content position and size should match its importance and frequency of use. So only use color and formatting to draw attention when needed, rather than to decorate. Visually associate data in content that is related should be carefully considered. And use the needs of the user to drive the layout rather than forcing layout with an inflexible grid. So we need to consider how, when we actually scan the page, when we look at the presentation, look at data visualization. So now let's talk about how to design an effective layout. So when we scan a page, so how do our eyes move? So here you can see the red colors indicates more visual attention on the page. It's more like a capital F letter. So this capital letter F, this F pattern is widely used on the web page design. So we can also actually apply this principle in designing our dashboard. So, but sometimes our eye movements may also be affected by the content. If you put some eye-catching images or those bold kind of titles and in graphs, so those will catch the audience attention immediately. But here is the guideline we can normally use for dashboard design. So we can divide a dashboard into these 4 quadrants. The most important content should be put on the top left corner, those quadrants. So it should be the most emphasized quadrant. And the least emphasized quadrant should be the bottom right. And the other quadrant will be the neutral, which means the medium level importance content. So here is the dashboard. We can see actually it follows this guideline with the most important overall rep performance being placed on the top left. And then the bottom right, you can see that's the least important information. So the other parts will be like the intermediate level in terms of the importance level. And this dashboard we just saw also follow the similar kind of a principle. So most emphasized on the top right, top left, and bottom right least important. Here is a web analytics dashboard from the big book of dashboards. So you can see it also follows the similar guidelines we just mentioned. Those big numbers were placed on the top left to catch the audience attention. The map may be the least important. And then we have some other content to place on the other 2 neutral quadrants. So even though this is not perfectly aligned to those 4 quadrants, but you can still see the approximate kind of use of those guidelines based on these 4 quadrants. So here's another example based on the complaints. So you can see the perfect kind of alignment of these 4 quadrants. So even though the top left is a little bit taller than the 2 bottom quadrants. In 2016, Tableau actually began working on a research project to track how our eye movements are actually can be monitored to study the effective design of dashboard. So during its annual conference, they are going to set up some eye tracking system. So in one of the demo labs, and then they will recruit volunteers to look at the dashboard, and at the same time they will track the viewer's eye movements. So in this way, they can collect data to study the eye tracking, use the eye tracking kind of movements in the in-dashboard design. So this is a very important area of research in data visualization, and it's actually very useful to help us understand the effective design of dashboard to catch users' attention. So this one is actually one of the dashboard being displayed to the audience during their eye tracking research in the conference. So we can take a look at this animation to see how it's actually being displayed to the audience. So this is based on the data being collected from the eye movements of the volunteers. You can see it also pretty much follow the kind of capital F pattern, even though it's not perfectly a capital F, but still it follows the principle we just mentioned. So here is another example from the big book of dashboards. So the agent utilization dashboards has large numbers across the top of the dashboard. So this is designed to a grid, but it's not in the traditional 4 quadrants. So let's see what the reader's eyes will do in this case. So here's a simulation based on the collected data. So we can notice that the big numbers catch the audience attention across the top. And the color of the staggered kind of a bar chart, and also the area chart also catches the user's attention. They also catch users' attention. So this tells us that the big numbers in the charts are pretty effective to catch the audience attention. So what makes visualization actionable, especially in dashboard design? So let's talk a little bit about some of the guidelines. So at their best, the graphics are instruments for reasoning about quantitative information, often the most effective way to describe, explore, and summarize a set of numbers is to look at pictures of those numbers. So this is from Edward Tufte. So this tells us the importance of graphics and how they can be used to facilitate the effective data visualization design. So we mentioned something similar before in the business intelligence model. So how do we move data to actually to insights, to actionable, maybe guidelines for stakeholders? KPIs and dashboards, they focus on directed discovery, mostly for explanatory dashboard design. And analytical tools can actually help the audience or provide the interface for the audience to interact with the dashboard to facilitate exploratory discovery. Like they can drill in, filter, group, they can add additional variables, they can create the cross tabs, etc. Here are some examples of a key performance indicator. So we can also show it graphically. So in the bullet graph invented by Stephen Q is a great option for this. Notice that all of the data from the data table has been encoded into the bullet graph. Eric Du is the Vice President of Analytics and Intelligence at one of the business analytics company. he created this dual rules for actionable visualization. So let's take a look at these rules. So first of all, the question to answer must be identifiable. So which means we need to articulate the question we want to answer and then write it out. So you need to clearly understand which question you want to address in your visualization. So in this example, you can see it's very clear. The question is which regions are the most profitable. And here is another example. How has Valentine's Day spending changed over time? It's also very clear. So the question is also the title of the visualization. So here is another one for New York City riot sightings. So even though the title is not a question, it's also very clear what we want to see in this visualization. Second rule is the data needed must be available. So this is very apparent. So so in some cases you may need to create the data if you cannot actually find it from anywhere else. So which means you need to create a survey or questionnaire to collect the data from your targeting audience. So like in this example, how does rain affect trick-or-treating? So this is like the assignment you did for the Halloween data sets. So if you can bring in additional data sets, you can make it more interesting. So number 3, the visualization should be tailored to the person who will use the information. So which means your audience may be the general public, but in some cases, they may be only the VP of finance or just some particular group of people. So you may discover you need more than one to cover all levels of the organization. So in this case, you can see, so it's based on income statement. So you may see this probably is designed for a specific audience, not for a general public, because it's a dashboard maybe for the VP of finance and accounting to look at to make some strategic decision for his or her department. So number 4, the story uncovered in the visualization should be evident. So which means the viewer should not need an advanced degree in statistics and analytics to interpret the visualization, or have to make leaps of logic to understand what the data really means. So you want to make it very user-friendly, so which makes it easy to understand, to convey the message you want to deliver. So this is the dashboard we just saw before. So we don't need an advanced degree to understand which regions are most profitable. It's very easy to see from these 3 charts. Number 5, the action required should be clear. So which means based on the question you answered originally, the audience should actually get the possible actions they want to take from your findings. So this is more like the prescriptive kind of analytics to give the audience the possible guidelines or guidance about what to do next. So based on this example, like the possible audience can maybe formulate possible actions to deal with the states with the most number of complaints. So they can drill down maybe to see the additional information, try to find out the actual reasons that contributed to the complaints. So in this example, you can see the alerting colors were used for this the second and the 5th row. So then maybe the audience can think about what to do next to deal with those defective kind of products. Okay, so that's all I want to talk about in this set of slides. So let me know if you have any questions.